Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week of That's a Wrap. My name is Austin Jameson, and joining me today is...
Anthony Gentry, hello.
Yeah, so, real quick, I want to start this with, we're going on like 40 episodes now, I think.
We are, yeah.
42, technically, 40 published. I think this will be our 40th episode.
It is, yes.
So
40th published episode.
Yeah. Rest in peace, The King's Man, and... What was the other
3,000 Years of Longing. Those were both such good episodes,
especially
too.
when we did 15 trailers for 3,000 Years.
Rapid fire.
All of it got... Anyways, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to continuing it.
I do, too.
Especially in my very preparedness, as always.
Yes, you are very prepared.
So today we have a couple of trailers, we have a few trailers, and then 2 movies to talk about with you today.
I have 3.
This guy has three movies to talk about. Or the main... topic will be Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special, the newest blockbuster hit MCU film of Disney Plus. And then our in-theaters experience that we'll be talking about is Strange World, which if you haven't heard about it, which you probably haven't, is the newest Disney animation film. And we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Let's go ahead and start with the trailers. I think we should probably start with...
We start with the oldest one, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you lead us off?
All right.
Because I don't know which one the oldest one is.
Obviously, this is the most anticipated movie of the year for Austin. We actually just decided this is going to be our season finale for this semester/season.
Yeah.
And that is Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah, okay. So this trailer gave us about...
The exact same
new.
thing, as the other trailers.
Honestly, this trailer, I'm not excited for this movie in the first place, but this movie this trailer did not aid that whatsoever. In fact, I would go to say that this movie is not going to look as good as people think it is. I think at the level that like visual effects are now with like every blockbuster film. I don't think it'll stand out. I think because Avatar's main ticket, like the original one, was how good it looked.
Yeah.
And obviously there's going to be upgrades in this movie, but I don't think they're going to be substantial unless you see them in like a crazy IMAX or Dolby Atmos kind of thing. This trailer, I don't think it looked too appealing visually.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think if anything, like with the big selling point for this movie is going to be the visuals, especially with like James Cameron doing it, because not only is he like a good director with visual effects, he's worked in visual effects, and he's always waiting until the effects are just right to do like the first Avatar and now this one. And so I think the effects will be good. Like a lot of the stuff we've seen in the trailers like look good.
Right.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with this trailer. It looks everything that we saw before. Like in the past trailers we talked about, I was like, oh yeah, this looks cool, don't know what it's about, but hopefully the next trailer. And this is the last trailer and we still have no idea what it's about. It's just water.
I haven't seen the first one in a very long time, and you could show me this trailer and tell me it was for the first one and I'd believe you,
because it tells us everything we already know. There's water. Jake Sully has a family now, and the humans are back. And there's going to be
come
action.
Watch my sequel and watch it get literally billions of dollars real quick. So that's nice.
Hopefully, James Cameron stays by his word when he says, when you watch Avatar 2, you will poop your pants.
He say that?
He did say
like
that.
Verbatim? He said poop your pants?
Well, he said the other word for poop.
All right.
But no, he actually did say that like years ago. So we'll find out in the theater.
We will. I don't know. I'm just not very...
Yeah.
I think it's overrated still.
Yeah, I'm still like kind of excited, but this trailer really just hampered it because it's like, what is this about? You're not telling me anything.
Yeah, this is like the third trailer we've gotten.
Yeah.
So, not surprising. They have 3 more movies of exposition that they get to dump out on all of us. But we'll get there when we get there.
It comes out December 16th. Look out for our review of that.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about... You want to do White Noise?
White Noise, yeah.
Yeah, a new Netflix. Or is it like... Would you call it a Netflix original?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
It's Noah Baumbach. I think it's like 3rd Netflix collaboration. This movie is so much different than what expected it to be, or I guess the trailer, because if you've seen any of Noah Baumbach's movies, I've seen 3 of them. When We're Young, the Meyerowitz stories, New and Selected, and Marriage Story. And all of those...
He did Marriage Story?
He did,
okay.
yes.
That makes
all
sense.
of those are very just like dialogue heavy, like kind of like slow burns and dramas. And this one seems like it's a full-on comedy, like obviously with some dramatic elements. It's going big, it's not low-key, and it feels like such a departure for Noah Baumbach, but it also feels like his kind of movie too. And I'm excited to see like where it comes from. I was looking at like the comments in the video, and they were saying, I'm surprised they're doing this because I read the book that this is based on, and it is so out there. I completely missed the point, and I thought it was unfilmable, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
And they said Dune was unfilmable, but look what we got last year.
We got Timothy Chalamet.
We did.
In a film.
Chalamet.
Is it?
No, it...
Can't do that to me. I guess you're allowed to gaslight me with how much I return that favor. So, okay. That's why, I agree. It seems really interesting. Obviously, Adam Driver's in it. I'm excited for that. But I didn't know he was the guy who did Marriage Story. So that's a very good
I'm excited to see Adam Driver punch a wall.
Yeah, every day I wake up.
Do you think, in the trailer, he says one of these kids are from, like, wife number 1. Do you think this is a sequel to Marriage Story?
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's no way. There's no way it's not. That'd be awesome.
It definitely is.
That would work so well for the story.
Yeah.
And definitely not ruin anything with the continuity of the other films.
Well, I mean, it seems like he's a filmmaker in this movie, too. Like in Marriage Story.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a sequel.
We'll see. You just gotta watch it. Netflix continues to like claw and like stab at the edge of the like pit it's falling into, which is entertaining.
Yeah. When does this come out? Let me see.
I'm not sure. In the meantime, I'll talk about
December 30th.
Nothing.
Right at the end of the year.
Okay. Sounds good. Is that all the trailers?
That's all the trailers we have. Nothing really came out this week.
Okay.
I do have a review
of
a movie I watched the day before Thanksgiving.
Nice.
And that is another Netflix movie that was in theaters for 1 week only for some stupid reason. It should have had a wide release. And that is Rian Johnson's Glass Onion.
That's out on
Knives
Netflix?
Out Mystery. No, it was out in theaters. And
you went and saw it?
Yeah, I did.
Right, you told me about this. Okay, I do remember that.
And then it'll be on Netflix like a full month from now.
Okay. Let me preface this, and I texted this to you as well.
Yes.
The best part of the first Knives Out was going in completely blind, because it is the point of the first Knives Out is that you don't know where the story is going to go at any given point. It sets itself up as something, might be something else. It pulls a lot of fast ones on you. So give this review with as little detail as possible.
Yes, I planned on this.
Okay.
I'm going to do exactly that.
Okay.
I'm going to start off by saying I thought this was a very good movie. I would even say it's great. I'm a little disappointed by it. And that's because, like you said, with the first movie, you do not know where it's going. They like play with so much stuff in that first one. They tell you who did it in the middle of the movie, and then they keep going. With this one, they kind of do it. Like, they do something that's like, like they're going forward with it. And then they tell you who done it in the who done it. That's not a spoiler, because you always find out who done it in the who done it. And then I was watching it, and I was like, oh, okay, but like there has to be more to this, right? It can't just be that. Like, if I'm going off the first Knives Out, there's going to be more to this story. It's not just like clean and cut, dry as light, and then it ends. And it was pretty straightforward. Aside from this very like really engaging section in the middle, I loved all the character introductions in the beginning. This movie is also set during the height of the pandemic in 2020, and I was like, oh, how is that going to play into the story? Like, this has got to be part of the mystery. No, it's just played for laughs. They just use it to have jokes about the characters. And And this is like much more of a comedy than the first one, even though the first one was funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I still think it's a really good movie, but there's just part of it that just leaves me disappointed.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Um.
Do you have any questions about it
Nope.
overall? No.
I don't want to. I don't want to ask.
I'm
anything.
trying to be as vague as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very hard.
I'm sure.
But yeah, because I feel like even if I say one wrong thing, it could give away what it is. But
Right.
no, I still think it's a very engaging movie. I found it really entertaining. They do play with like story and like narrative and stuff like that, which I really appreciate. I really love that section.
Mm-hmm.
But the ending just brought it down for me in how they unraveled it.
Yeah, I just looked up when it's coming out on Netflix. For those who didn't see it in the 1 week theater release, it's December 23rd.
Yeah, wait a while.
So
it's still out right now. You can get your ticket.
Is it November 29th? Yeah, it looks like if you're listening to this live or maybe later tonight when it publishes, then you have your shot tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
I think it's today, tomorrow, and is it Wednesday too?
I think it's just the 29th. I think it's just today and tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, go get your ticket. Go see it. It is worth watching, especially in the theater. I hate how it's only like 600 theaters right now. It should be wide release.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably give it like an 80 out of
Fair
100. I thought it was really good, just that ending.
And if you get bored with this one, you can watch the first one, which is also pretty good.
Yeah. First one's far better. Go see that.
Yeah. Chris Evans, cable knit
Chris
sweater.
Evans, yeah.
My God.
Dave Bautista, by the way, in this movie is so good.
Which leads us
yes
into our, I think, or do you want to start with that?
Let's get into it, yeah. Okay.
Our first movie today, of two, we'll be talking about Dave Bautista's performance, among others, in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
If you listened to us last week, we did say we were going to do the Fabelmans, but Universal apparently hates Steven Spielberg because this movie had super limited show times and was only in one theater in our area. Yeah. The theater that neither of us subscribed to.
It's incredibly rough.
It's dumb. That's what it is.
I do want to. I want to watch it. I want to.
I
have
my ticket for tomorrow. I'm so excited for it.
But expect maybe a bite on that. Or something like that. But check out That's a Wrap Bites.
On That's a Wrap
NCR on Instagram. But yeah, so Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Yes.
This is not like a main feature film. It's only on Disney Plus.
It's like 40 minutes.
A couple episodes ago, probably like a couple months ago now, for Halloween, they released the Werewolf by Night special as well.
Have you seen that yet?
I have not.
It is very good.
We'll see if I get around to it. I'm kind of on an on and off relationship right now with MCU, so I'll talk to them and see if it's something I want to watch.
Yeah.
But
something you want to watch on your laptop right before we record.
So as you all know, avid listeners of That's a Wrap, I like to prepare myself.
Yeah, you're the prepared one out of the two of us.
Well, usually, yeah. Like on average. I like to watch all the trailers beforehand.
Yep.
I like to watch all the movies beforehand.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part, is when I watch the movies on time.
You see it the Thursday before. I see it immediately before we review.
It's kind of unprofessional, and I didn't want to bring it up here on podcast, but since we're here already, we might as well. So I definitely didn't watch this on my Chromebook before starting this episode, literally up to the minute of hitting record. But I watched it.
Yeah. And who's the one who suggested we review this movie?
It was me. Of course it was me. I love the MCU. I'm such a diehard MCU fan. And
you suggested it, and you even forgot to watch it.
I thought we were doing the two doubles, and I was like, let's just do it. Let's do the guard. I didn't. Okay.
After we recorded last week's podcast, I was like, oh, let me get my tickets for the Fabelmans. And I looked, and I was like, oh, it's only at one theater for some reason. And so I texted Austin, and I was like, okay, so here's all this list of movies that's coming out this week. What do you want to do? And he said, how about we do Guardians of the Galaxy and Strange World?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, sounds good.
I felt like it was like a good Disney double feature.
Yeah. Then I walk into the studio today, and there's Austin sitting down with his Chromebook on the table watching the special.
Yeah, I was right at the end though, so like I don't know. I watched a little bit of it earlier as well when you texted me and reminding me that we're doing 2 movies. So yeah, I think the moral of the story is that I've not been punished for this yet, and as long as I keep getting away with it, I think I will keep doing it. So
what did you think of this special? Since you have the freshest take.
Absolutely. So, do you want to know what this movie reminded me, like to compare this to another movie? What this movie reminded me of?
Yes.
Genuinely.
Yes.
The Munsters.
Oh no.
The comedy.
Yeah.
It was like Munsters, but a different, like a much higher budget. And they had a test screening at least once. If you liked Drax in the other movies, you'll like him in this one.
Yeah.
If you don't like Drax, you won't like this movie. This is, of course, a Drax Mantis centered special.
It's a buddy comedy where it's Christmas on Earth. Peter's kind of sad because he's not celebrating Christmas. And Drax and Mantis are like, let's go to Earth.
Yeah.
And give him the best present of all time. Kidnap Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. And that's what that's a spoiler alert for this, I guess.
It was in the trailer, I guess.
It's fairly obvious. Kevin Bacon's in it. They go to steal him to give him Kevin Bacon as a present. I thought I didn't know or Chris Pratt, but Star-Lord was going to be in this movie at all. I thought it was just Drax Mantis and Nebula.
Yeah, everyone else is basically a cameo.
I'd say or Star-Lord had a bigger part.
Yeah, he has the third most amount of screen time.
But still.
Yeah.
This movie wasn't that good, or this special.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I did not.
The humor, it mostly hit for me. I do think, like you said, Drax. Because it was very weird going from Knives Out, where in that movie, he is so good playing an influencer, and it's just so funny how he plays it. And going to this, where it's here's the Marvel lines,
right?
And he just puts a dumb look on his face, and he calls it a day. Whereas I hear that when he first entered acting, he took it super seriously. He took a bunch of acting classes, and it shows. Especially in the first Guardians and Dune, that little beginning part of Blade Runner 2049 and in Glass Onion, he's super good in all those movies. And then in this, it's oh, haha, you're stupid now.
This movie did not make a good case for those who want to take Drax seriously. There's the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Where he's sitting on the stairs, thinking about his family, and Mantis reads him, and it's this super emotional scene that's super strong, and it's okay, I want more of that, and then he's comedic relief, and then this movie isn't entirely comedic relief with a lot of slapstick comedy and just
because the first movie, the humor didn't come from him being stupid.
Yeah,
it was because he took everything literally.
Yes,
that it was just all unintentional.
Right,
but you can tell he's still a capable character.
Right.
In this movie and in Guardians 2, which is why I disliked Guardians 2 so much. They just make everyone stupid.
Yeah.
And they took away all their humanity in favor of the jokes. In this one, I guess because I was already prepared from Guardians 2, I wasn't expecting much. And so with the humor, I was okay, some of this is funny. I'm having a good time watching this. Especially with Kevin Bacon just being in it. I thought he was really cool in it. You look like you're about to start fuming.
It wasn't. I don't know. I have a much higher tolerance for this kind of humor, I guess. I did not.
Do you mean lower tolerance?
Yes.
Yeah.
I laughed at this movie once, and it's still kind of silly. Well, one of the running gags with Drax is that he whenever they show up at Kevin Bacon's house, they find a little blow up elf.
Yeah.
I forgot what he calls it. It's like his like green boy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Green man. I don't know. He really likes it, and then he leaves it, and then are we cool with spoiling this? It's not. It's barely canon.
If you don't want to be spoiled on it, I guess
Yeah.
jump ahead maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
How would you rate this?
I would rate out of 100. I guess I need to put it on my letterbox too. And Strange World I need to put on my letterbox. But this would be like a 2.5 out of 5 stars on letterbox. Out of 100, it'd be like 50, 40 maybe. It was not.
I'd say 64 out of 100. It was fine.
Didn't graciously recommend this for the podcast, I probably wouldn't have watched it.
Yeah, I was surprised when you recommended it.
Me too. I just thought it'd be cool for a Disney little duo, and now we're here.
Yeah, but if you don't want to be spoiled, jump ahead 5 minutes. We'll probably start talking about Strange World then.
Yeah.
Let's start a timer.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah,
but at the end, Mantis gives him a present, and he like opens it slowly, and then he like starts digging through it like a kid, and he's like, whatever he calls it. I don't remember what he was. That was what was funny to me.
My green boy.
It was silly. I laughed once then. The rest of it was just like, it felt skippable.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The pace of it was just super weird
Mm-hmm.
because they spend so much time just like going around Hollywood and stuff, and then once they get Kevin Bacon, it's almost the end of it, and so it's like, okay, we gotta wrap this up,
right?
And it felt kind of off. Like spend maybe 5 minutes doing the Hollywood stuff, and then the rest of like the 30 minutes you have left doing Kevin Bacon, Star-Lord, like all that.
Yeah, it felt like a Christmas special in the sense that Star Wars holiday special feels like a Star Wars movie. It does what it's supposed to. It's not very good, but it's in the spirit of the holidays, and it just kind of like canonly, I guess, just kind of spits off some fun jokes for people to enjoy.
It's a fun little time.
It's mostly a filler for Marvel to just kind of span the time between the next Guardians.
But yeah, I enjoyed myself with it. I don't think it's all that bad.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Marvel should continue making these specials?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with Werewolf by Night, that was so good, and like it introduced a character really well without having to do a whole like 2-hour huge blockbuster movie or extend it out way too much into a 6 to like 9, 12 episode show. Yeah. It was like really like cool. It was just like short and precise, short and sweet. I think they should keep doing this, especially if they are going to like introduce characters or even just little one-off stuff, like a holiday special that doesn't have to be canon. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just something you do for fun, I guess. That's where I'm like, yeah, I think they should keep doing it.
Yeah. I think it's good filler for them. I don't think this movie was like, it wasn't for me, but it wasn't necessarily bad. I haven't seen Werewolf by Night, but obviously we have high praise for that. So I think it's a good strategy for them, if not anything, just to like in these kind of droughts or like where we just got Black Panther. But I don't know what the next movie's supposed
Ant-Man.
to be. Is it Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Is that when is that?
February. We got
That's
like
already
3
in February?
months.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
I would have guessed like May. That's gonna get pushed back. No way.
I think Guardians is in May.
Guardians is in May?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they'd push it back this soon. Like, I guess they did for Doctor Strange.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But I think that's a comfortable spot. We're at 3 minutes currently for our timer.
Like 3 minutes left?
3 minutes in.
Oh, okay.
So 2
yeah.
minutes left.
I think we're good.
Yeah, so it's on Disney Plus if you want to watch it. It's probably good for. Would kids like this? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's fun. It's silly. Do you want to do Rotten Tomatoes?
Let's
I wonder if there is a score. No, I do not.
Okay, let me go ahead and look that up for you real quick. Okay. Let's see. Anthony, tell us about something you're watching on the side lately.
Oh man. In preparation for The Fabelmans, I've been watching almost every Spielberg movie that I have not already seen.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a real jolly two-parter with Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan. Those
Gotcha.
were
Okay.
it was depressing, but Schindler's List is an amazing movie. Same with Saving Private Ryan, but Schindler's List, I couldn't stop thinking about that. Like days after, even now, it's like that is such an amazing movie. I have a Letterboxd now too, so go check that out.
Absolutely.
I gave that 5 stars.
Gotcha.
It's I have no complaints about it. I think I cried like 5 times during it. It's so good. I also watched the last 2 Indiana Jones movies.
Nice.
Last Crusade and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Last Crusade I thought was super good. I really liked it. Crystal Skull, it wasn't as good, but I still thought it was enjoyable. Like some fun action. Way too much CGI. There was some George Lucas influence, I could tell.
Yeah.
But even for me, because I believe Spielberg is the best director ever, all time. And even with the Crystal Skull, with like a movie that's not his best work, it's still enjoyable. It's still a fun ride. And then last night, I watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is also amazing. I gave that 5 stars too. Like I went into it, I was like, oh yeah, it'll be cool. Like I hear people love this movie, but I'm like, I don't know. And then I was watching it, I was like, is this gonna be a 5-star movie? And like it kept going and it ended. I was like, oh that's a 5-star movie. That was good.
Okay. We got a Spielberg super fan over here.
Oh,
in the making, at least.
Oh no, I've been a super fan for a long time.
Yeah. So now that we're done talking about Schindler's List, let's talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special Rotten Tomatoes score. What do you think the critic and audience score is?
I'm gonna say 77 for critics.
77 for critics. You're really confident in that.
I think they're gonna like it.
Okay.
And for audience, I think they're gonna like it even more. I'm gonna go another double digit. I'm gonna say 88.
88. Okay, so 77 tomato meter.
Yes.
88 audience.
Yes.
All right. The tomato meter is 89%.
Oh, okay. They liked it even
really
more
like
than I
this.
thought.
Yes, they did. The audience score, you said 88, is 84.
Okay.
Yeah.
They liked it less.
Critics and audience, pretty in line. Audience a little less. The critic consensus is more of a stocking stuffer than a fully rounded parcel. This Yuletide excursion is a delightful showcase for Drax Mantis and a very game Kevin Bacon.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
A stocking stuffer is a good way of describing this movie.
Yeah.
But
a little fun thing before you get into the big stuff.
Welcome back to all of our listeners who might have skipped ahead a little bit. I hope you skipped directly to here. That'd be awesome. If you didn't, then maybe you're seeing this in the future. Yeah, welcome back now. Our next movie is another Disney production.
The main event of the show, you could say.
Let's talk about Strange World.
Yes, a movie you most likely have not even heard of, much less seen.
None of the budget went towards advertising. It feels.
Did we talk about one of the trailers? I don't even know.
I don't think we did. We might have during the 3,000 years episode. That
we
got
might
cut.
have, yeah.
But it is pathetic because it's bombing in the box office right now.
It made as much as Knives Out did, and Knives Out was in 600 theaters, and this is in wide release, 2,000 probably, maybe even more.
Yeah, it sucks. Or not the movie. I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it now.
Yeah, let's get into it. It is really unfortunate that it's hardly marketed at all.
Yeah,
especially because this movie. Regardless of what you think about it, it moves forward a lot in terms of representation.
Yeah,
for a lot of
definitely.
One of the main characters is just a gay teenager, and instead of making that his whole personality, that's just who he is, and he's a full well-rounded character. And I thought that was really cool to see, and it's unfortunate that no one knows this movie exists because Disney decided not to market it at all.
Yeah. It's extremely frustrating. I'm slightly worried. I'll be more worried when it happens. Of conservative news stations saying that it flopped for that reason, which is
they're already doing that.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, it is.
But it didn't get advertised at all, so nobody really saw it.
Yeah. Do you think this will have the Encanto effect? because Encanto also, it did better than Strange World, but it also didn't do that well.
Mm-hmm.
But then once it hit Disney Plus, like a month later, it just exploded.
I doubt it. I think Encanto got carried by its music a lot.
I think so too. I think it will blow up. Maybe not as much as Encanto because of the music, but I think people will discover and be like, "Oh, what's this?" Like,
I feel like families like across the world may discover it, and they like. I just don't think it'll get big.
Yeah,
I think people will be like, "Let's try it out," or like, "Well, we need something to watch."
That's fair.
I don't think it'll blow up like Encanto did, mostly because, unfortunately, Lin-Manuel Miranda did not write any songs for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I regret doing that live. Let's cut that. Can we cut? Editor, please cut this. Okay. So.
Yeah, let's get into it.
This movie, Anthony. How about you begin this one? What did you think of this film?
I thought it's fine. It's a movie. It repeats a lot of stuff that other Disney movies have done. I think even when I was like 11 or 12, I noticed a trend with Disney Animation Studios, and all their movies are either like a buddy comedy where like one of them hates, or like they hate each other, and then they like come together and like, oh, we're best friends, and then there's like a twist villain, and it's like they go into wacky hijinks and stuff like that. And this is exactly that. Like, it's not necessarily, I guess, a buddy comedy, but it kind of is in certain parts.
Or you keep going. You keep going.
Sorry. It's just a repeat of like almost every other Disney movie we've seen before. Like, if you want to take aspects from Big Hero 6, which is the same director, like you can take stuff from that. You can take stuff from really any like recent Disney animated movie, or even past ones like Atlantis, or those more like adventurous Disney like animated movies, like or
Up.
like Up, or The Black Cauldron, stuff like that.
I think there's a lot of inspiration from Up for this film. And it sucks because you can't really call it inspiration as much as like you said, or this movie feels like an AI generated Disney movie. It looks like it took all the elements and then spit out a final product.
Yeah, I think the big inspiration is Journey to the Center of the Earth, because that was like a really old, just like adventure film, and this movie goes for that old aesthetic, and they're literally going inside the Earth to try to fix a problem they have.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. It doesn't feel, or nothing really felt original with this movie. It was all very predictable. Like in terms of story beats for the characters, you have like this main character, like even in the trailers, it's a rift with his dad.
What is the story?
How do you even describe it? It starts with this, like, it starts with a flashback.
The Clades.
We have the Clades. We have Jaeger Clade, which is the father of Searcher Clade.
Yeah.
Searcher doesn't want to explore. He's hesitant, kind of weak, feeble, and he's like, I want to do stuff differently. And
I don't want to be an adventurer. And the dad's like, but we are adventurers.
Exactly. And it's like, it's literally the theme, which we've seen like a lot now, where it's
generational trauma.
It's just turning red.
That was it's turning red. It's Encanto.
Yeah.
It's so many recent, it's so many recent Disney movies and just like other movies in general. That was my second note. It's just generational trauma again.
Yeah. But Jaeger Clade, Searcher's dad, is like, I need, or you are me, blah blah blah. That same cliche.
Yeah.
And then,
how dare you not be interested in what I'm interested in?
Also, to set up the world they're in. They're in this little country or whatever that's surrounded by mountains, super super high on all sides, and they're Jaeger
and no one
Clade,
can get past the mountains.
Yes. Jaeger Clade needs to his goal is to explore and see the horizon past the mountains. And so that's what he dedicates his whole life to. They get to a certain point in the opening sequence where there's a cool green plant that has some sort of weird energy, and Searcher's like, whoa, we should take this and bring it back to the town and help them. And
he's
Jaeger,
like, this might be our legacy. And Jaeger's like, no.
Jaeger's like, peace.
He literally just abandons him.
He turns around. He gives him a compass. He's like, this is how you find me, and then bounces. 25 years later. One of my first note is most casual 25-year time skip ever. It ends at such a weird point.
It does. Yeah.
So that's the general gist. We appear in 25 years later. Searcher now has a family. He's a farmer, and we see that plant that he found is like super duper vast now.
It gave technology to the country, or I guess town. I don't know what this is.
I don't really know either. It advances this community.
Yeah, from living in the 1800s to living in 40 or something.
I wish we had the technology they do at 2025.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't think that'll be happening. But anyways, Searcher ushers in this new technology era, and suddenly plants start dying all around this place.
Yeah. And if they die, then there's no electricity, and there's a line at the beginning from almost every single person of, oh, I love this plant. I don't know what will happen if it dies. I'll lose everything. One person's like, I'll kill myself if this happens.
It was really rough.
Yeah, they really explain to you, like, oh, no, we need this plant. We need this plant. Please listen to us.
This plant is important. And
it's dying.
It's dying, guys. And so Searcher and
we're spending 10 minutes explaining the plot because there's so much of it, and then it's like a nothing.
So it's like you
so
can expect
they go to this inside the earth to figure out the root of the problem, and Searcher finds his dad.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, hey, Dad. And he's like, oh, hey, son. Cool.
Yeah, they're pretty chill for not seeing each other 25 years. Okay. Is there anything else with the early story? Obviously, there's the hijinks of they try and tackle the cliche of he was hiding on the ship the whole time with his wife, or Searcher's wife shows up. And her,
Searcher goes
copter.
alone, and his son wants to come, and Searcher's obviously, because he's a good dad, he's like, I'm not gonna kill you. If you come, you might die. I'm not gonna let that happen.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, he's the bad guy because of that. And then, the son stows away, and then the mom comes to get the son, but then they're all there together, along with the family dog.
Of course, the family dog.
Yeah.
Which is this movie does not pull punches with representation. We had a 3-legged dog.
Yeah.
We have the black gay teenager. We have it is a great family. Great representation all across.
We
the
have
board.
the very accepting grandfather.
Yeah, I was scared.
I was scared too. There, he was like, "Who's that special someone?"
Yeah, I was
he was like, "Oh, his name is this," and I was wincing, and the grandpa was like, "Oh, here's how you get him to like you." I was like, "Oh, progressive grandfather." That it is refreshing. That's one of the best parts of this movie.
I was ready to roll my eyes when it's or the grandpa's like, "Oh, do you have some special someone?" It's like, "Who is she?" I was waiting for him to say that.
Yeah. But then he said, "Who are they?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey,
who is it?"
I'm not here to judge. I'm here to support.
Yeah. Good grandpa.
Good grandpa, not good dad.
Yes.
They even say that. He was like, maybe I'm not a good dad. And Searcher's like, yeah, you're not. And they don't make up. They're just like, oh no, you were a good dad. It's like, no, you were bad.
But yeah,
you abandoned your family for 25 years.
Yeah, that's rough. That's unfortunately what this movie deals with.
Yeah.
But all the beats going on are predictable.
One of my notes for this movie is the very first note I made. I noticed it immediately. I hate this with animated movies. It's so over animated.
Yes.
To where
totally.
A character can't just say something. They have to move their body all around. They have to point. They have to make a silly expression. And I get it. It's an animated movie. You can play with it, but when you play with it like this, none of it feels genuine. I am so disengaged.
Yes.
It's just don't stop doing that. Stop it.
It was really frustrating. I feel like they took the Disneyification and turned it up to a million. I feel like this was more of a problem in the Hotel Transylvania era of animated movies. Yeah. Well, I don't think Despicable Me ever had a problem with it, but that kind of older, early 2010s
animation. The Despicable Me villains which is why it worked, because it was like just them.
Mm-hmm. And it was just like them bouncing around, them bending in weird ways. It's like one of the jokes in this movie is like, what if you were some weird rock or something? And then the character makes a shape and he ends up next to a rock that looks exactly like him. And it's weird and it feels unnatural because it's supposed to feel like this weird cartoon gimmick. But when you do it so often and you do like this, like everything has to be bendy and like super exaggerated, it gets annoying. And it definitely got old in this movie.
Oh, it did.
Definitely overused. I think I noticed it less at the end, probably because I got used to it.
I think I did too. Yeah, same reason. We just got desensitized to it.
But super early on, it's definitely a major issue. And I'm kind of really getting tired of it. And Kanto wasn't too bad with its animation, I don't think.
It wasn't. They were good with it.
Yeah. Like, even like just comparing those two movies in my head, it's very clear how, like, the family of Encanto, like, for the most part, they feel like people. Obviously, there's like the like Dolores bits where she'll like quickly pop her head or like around like a corner or something.
But like it fit within the realm of the movie.
Yeah, this felt like an animated joke.
Yeah, it's like the animators weren't told when to stop. They were like, let me flex my animation skills.
And they just turned up the elasticity of every single movement.
Yeah, and also just with the art style of this movie, I really liked the beginning of it because it was so different. But then we just get into the sameness of every Disney Animation Studios movie.
Yeah,
where it's the same art style for every single movie. Like at least Pixar, they were doing it too. But then with recent stuff, like Turning Red and Luca. Yeah, they've like differed.
Soul.
And Soul too, yeah.
Soul's kind of interesting because they play with that inside out. Like, here's a bunch of little tear droplet people.
Yeah.
But still, the humans and like for the most part,
you always know what they're gonna look like because the way they animate it now in these Disney movies, it's all the same. And I want like just something different, and they're not giving us that.
No. I don't know. I think Disney and the MCU for that matter are like running on empty right now, where they don't have like any ideas for new interesting films. Or they have plenty of ideas because I don't think the people behind Disney aren't creative, but I think they're not allowed to venture out because they might get a big flop. Yeah. It's easier to do do another generational trauma story, do another like here's an adventure into an unknown land story.
Yeah, and when they did that with Encanto, it was like, oh, cool, because I don't think they've done. I mean, they've probably done like hints of generational trauma before, but that was like the whole crux of the movie,
right?
But then now they're just repeating it again and again and again.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like, or like I said at the beginning of this whole review, it doesn't feel like an original movie. It feels like a AI generated.
It's a hodgepodge of everything.
Print out Disney movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. Disney movies, for the most part, like usually aren't that bad.
Yeah. If you want to talk about like some positives, I said some of the sequences at least felt like unique and creative. Like there was a part where they're like trying to run away from these kind of like pterodactyl type things on these like fish thingies. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, that's like at least interesting. The animation, even though I am criticizing it because it's all just samey, when they get to that the underworld of it all, it is super like visually unique.
Yeah. Have you ever played Spore?
Just a little bit. Yeah.
That's what this entire movie. It felt like they went into Spore and they hit shuffle so many times until like something popped up. The designs are cool and I like that it's super vibrant, but I feel like it's like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of purpose behind it being like that, besides it just being like here's a bunch of cool designs and cool environments that like we storyboarded or we had a concept art of it, and it just kind of feels like it's there to be cool and it doesn't really serve a purpose other than being a strange world.
Yeah. How did you feel about the voice actors?
pretty good.
Yeah, we had a few like big names in it. Like we had Jake Gyllenhaal as Searcher, Dennis Quaid as his dad, Gabrielle Union as his wife, Meridian.
Castillo's. Is it Castillo? Is it Castillo? Callisto.
That's
okay.
That's Lucy Liu. I did not know
that. No offense to Lucy Liu. I did not like her voice. I don't think it matched her character very well.
That whole character, it just felt forced in.
Yeah.
Jabuki Young White, who plays Ethan, I thought he was good. He had some really awkward lines, especially at the beginning. Like when he's with the love interest, they do the whole thing of, oh, I'm going to be awkward for like awkward's sake. Like it felt very forced, but I think he does a good job with it.
Yeah. Definitely.
There's also Karen Sony as Caspian, Alan Tudyk, of course.
Of course. The narrator.
Yeah. Alan Tudyk is just in every Disney movie.
He has to be. I think he probably actually has a contract with them.
There was one guy who just died in this movie. I was shocked. Like he was the pilot.
Oh.
Like
yeah, I guess
it was
think about that.
Shocking because like they just kill him. You do not see him again.
I need to rewatch it, well, I won't. I don't think, but I don't remember the pilot, so I don't know.
We can talk about it in the spoiler section.
We will.
Do you want to get into it? Do you have any other notes?
Let's go ahead and get into spoilers.
Okay.
I have notes real quick.
How do you?
I said up but worse ?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of cool creatures and place ideas Disney had. There's a joke. One of the jokes that I laughed, or I didn't laugh at, I don't know, because it was meta, and I still don't know if I liked it or not. But there's a line where besides the dog, there's a lovable companion that they meet in the strange world.
Yeah, for the merchandising.
Splat. And one of the jokes is, I want to merchandise it.
Oh yeah, I did like that.
And I was
joke.
like, okay, that's funny, I think, because it's like, I'm surprised they got away with putting it in the first place, because Disney would definitely be like, well, people are going to be upset with us because that's hypocritical. But it's kind of like, it's like meta and self-aware at the same time, so it's funny, but also that is the purpose of Splat and all of them. So I don't know. However, I don't think they'll be merchandising too much from this movie, based on how well it did.
Yeah,
so,
I think they're still going to try.
They will. It's Disney; they have to.
Yeah.
Classic cut before Earth. That was just annoying. Okay.
Some of my notes. Some lines feel out of place, which is kind of what I alluded to when I talked about Ethan at the beginning. There's just some lines here and there where it just feels awkwardly written. Interesting creative sequences, like mainly the action-ish scenes. They're at least visually stimulating.
Yeah,
this is an entertaining movie. It's fine. It's just not, it could have been so much better.
Yeah.
I said it strays in some way from formulas, but also keeps to it in a lot of ways. It feels like just a repeat of so many Disney movies of the past. And that's all my notes. The last one I had was Pretty Animation.
Do you have the Rotten Tomatoes up for it?
I do not.
Okay. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
I mean, I guess since I did Guardians, I can do. Okay. You can do this one.
That sounds good.
So, Austin, what is the Rotten Tomatoes score for Strange World?
It's gonna be 75.
Okay.
The critic or the audience, probably like a 65. 75, 65.
You want to lock those in?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Austin.
Yeah.
For critics, you said 75%.
That's right, I did, Anthony.
With 114 reviews,
Woo!
The actual score is 75%. This is the second week in a row you got it spot on. I used to be the one who got it pretty close, and now you are the one not only getting close, spot on.
Anthony, let me tell you my secret.
Yeah?
It's called watching the movie last night, and then that's it. I watched the last showing last night.
That's what you always do. Are you going to do that for Violent Night next week?
No. But yeah, I'm used to just kind of being on top like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
That's awesome.
The consensus is Strange World is a Disney milestone in terms of representation.
True.
But as a storytelling experience, this dazzlingly animated adventure offers little audiences haven't already seen. Exactly what we've been saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
The audience score, with over 500 verified ratings, you said 65%.
Yeah, but I could see it being higher.
Do you want to change it?
I'll stick with 65. I'm not a coward, but I think it might be higher because kids are going to like it while adults are going to see through the story. But then again, I don't know. 65. I'm going to stick with it.
The actual score is 61%.
I'm so good at this.
Bro, kids don't make Rotten Tomato reviews.
I don't know.
The adults do.
Shut up.
It's like a little 5-year-old going home like, I can't wait to put this on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, it's like a parent sees it with their kids, and the kids are like, "Yippee, I loved it!" And then the parent,
Rotten Tomatoes.
the parent professional, or the parent with a Rotten Tomato verified account is like,
"All right, Timmy, what do you think?"
Okay, my kids love this movie. But yeah, I don't know. That does. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do spoilers. Right. We don't got that much time left.
Yeah, spoilers in 5,
4,
3,
2,
1.
Okay.
Turtle.
Yeah. I really like the creature reveal. I think that's
too.
all the movie has going for
I
it.
saw that. I was like, what? Oh, that does make sense. Acid. When they mentioned the wind scene, what was that scene? I completely forgot about it.
The wind scene?
Yeah. They're like, oh, the wind, like when it was really windy, it was the lungs. When was it super windy?
Because
I don't remember that.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I thought I was.
It could have been
attention.
like the clouds, like the blue and purple clouds, when they were just kind of drifting through.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. But still,
but it was a cool reveal.
It was. I liked the giant eyeball. It was like, okay, we're getting a little Avatar up in here.
Oh, it's just like a creature. It's like Moana.
Avatar, by the way.
Still kind of repeating beats, but it's at least interesting. And at the very end, it's like, oh, it's a turtle.
Yeah, I like turtles.
You too.
So
that's all. That's really all the spoilers.
You can really predict the beats of the movie for yourself. Yeah. The dad has like a final option, or the grandpa, he's called at this point, has a final option between like going to see the horizon for himself or going back and saving his family. Yeah.
Then he goes to the horizon, and then it's like, oh no, family's important. And they even go out anyway at the end. And then the twisted villain with Callisto.
That was okay. I have a note with that.
It was stupid.
Why is she happy? Why is she happy? Why does she immediately turn? Because she tries to take
and then she's like, oh, it's a heart. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, I'm your friend now.
I don't get it. Like, or also, okay, to clarify. The plant that they've been using is like a virus infecting the turtle body. Yeah. And so they were trying to save the virus, but then they're like, we need to save the turtle instead. And
I thought it was so weird too, because there's a line at the beginning of the movie where Ethan says, what's a weed but just another plant trying to live that you find inconvenient?
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, so this like electric plant is basically a weed for the heart.
Right.
But we're still gonna kill it. We're not gonna find another way for it to live. So I was like, I don't know. I thought that line was gonna be important. I thought that's gonna be like one of the messages, and it's like, no, we're just gonna kill the plant.
Yeah, and then they just retract back to 1800s.
Yeah,
and that's the conclusion of the film. They finally they reinvent light bulbs somehow. I think wind power.
Yeah, they go back to the 1800s, and then they harvest the turtles' organs.
What?
Yeah, because they go back in now, and they just take stuff from the turtle. We're gonna harvest your cells, and
yeah, I don't know. It was like Osmosis Jones, but worse. And instead of a cool person, it's a turtle. I want to watch Osmosis Jones again.
That's a good movie.
That movie goes way too hard for how like little people know.
I watched it in my high school health class.
Nice. I think I did too.
Yeah.
I think it's a good go-to.
I remember, like, she put it on, and I was like, oh, I love this movie. And I think hardly anyone else had seen it. I was like, oh, you're in for a treat.
Maybe Strange World is the new Osmosis Jones.
No, it has to be super dark for it to be.
Yeah. But yeah, happy conclusion. Everybody's happy.
Yay.
Callisto. Was because it was so obvious that Callisto was going to be the twist villain, just like the guy from Up, where it's like join him on the adventure, like, and then at the last moment it's like, because it's set up where she's one of the main characters at the beginning who's like, Pando, which is the name of the plant, has changed our lives so much. I love Pando. We need to save Pando. And obviously we get to the end where it's like, oh, Pando's a bad thing. It's like Callisto's going to be like,
oh, now I'm bad.
yeah, but she wasn't. It was annoying because she wasn't bad because she wanted Pando. She was bad because she was like confused at the situation.
Yeah, she thought she was saving like her entire city,
they just didn't,
country,
like,
city,
the
town,
Clades
whatever
didn't
it was.
elaborate on what they were doing.
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay, let's
They're
shove
just
him in
like,
a
just
closet.
trust us. Like,
the bit with Splat going through the door to unlock the door for the dog to open, it was funny.
why didn't Splat just open the door?
Shut up, that's the joke. Just enjoy it, Anthony. Why you gotta be such a hater all the time?
I like how Splat was gonna kill Ethan.
Yeah, I like Splat.
He's just sending him to his doom, and then he's like, "Oh, you gave me a bandage. All right, we're cool now."
Disney does a pretty good job of, or continues its pretty good job of like personifying things that don't speak.
Yeah, they did do a good job with Splat.
Yeah, I'm a Splat fan for sure. But
are you gonna buy any merchandising for Splat?
No, I think I'm busy that day, unfortunately.
Oh, dang it. Well, that's all I have.
That's all I got. That was Strange World. That was also Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Yeah, that was also Glass Onion.
It was a Glass Onion.
Avatar trailer.
Yeah.
And White Noise trailer.
Yeah. So next week we have Violent Night. Are we doing a 2?
If you want to see Fablemans with me tomorrow night, sure.
Tomorrow night? What time is it? Or well, we don't have to dox what time you're seeing Fablemans, but
yeah, we'll talk about it after.
Yeah. Okay, so Violent Night for sure. Possibly Fablemans.
Possibly.
We'll make up for this week. I will make up for this week. I will say that mostly that was it was my fault.
No, it's not.
We'll figure it out.
It's Universal's fault. That's
Universal's fault. Okay.
But yeah, you can follow us on That's a Wrap NCR on Instagram.
Yeah. Maybe don't look for That's a Wrap by Unfablemans. Maybe we'll catch us next Monday. We only got a few episodes left.
Yeah, we have 3 more episodes.
So very exciting. Join us for that finale, December 19th.
Yeah, we have Violent Night, possibly The Whale, if it's in in theaters near us. If not, we'll do Pinocchio.
Like the
Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
The Disney Plus one. Yeah. Father.
I got the whole world to see.
But and then Avatar to finish us off.
Yeah, what an exciting finale. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I'm going to have to watch the first Avatar again, and I'm not excited. Yeah. Isn't it like 3 hours long?
It's 2 hours and 40.
Yeah, all right. Thank you all very much for listening. And until next time.
That's a wrap.